Hi, darling. See your one and only girl, unique Clara. Thank you for being there for me. So today I'll be bringing your way health. Yes, and the topic we'll be discussing is service. Yes, service. Servix. Yes. Women will really know what this is. Okay, what is the service? Service is the narrow end of the uterus that forms a canal between the uterus and the vagina, and the cervix is the lower part of the uterus that connects to the vagina. The cervix can be regarded as a birth canal, yes, because that's the place uh, baby comes out from. Yes, and what is the purpose of the cervix? Purpose of the cervix is to allow for fluid into the reproductive organ, or allow for fluid out from the reproductive organ. What I mean by this is, if a woman is trying to conceive, the sperm will pass through the cervix to other parts of the reproductive organs, and acts from woman's menstruation pass through there, and um, cervical mucus. That's um, for ovulation is still the cervix that it passed from, and it's also a birth canal because that's where baby passed through. Though I didn't know about this when I was in secondary school. I used to think they will open a woman up before the baby can come out, but getting to a mature age, I got to know that the cervix is actually a birth canal. So where is the location of the service? Anyway, the service uh, cannot really be seen except there is a gynecological examination. That's when the service can be seen. And we have two parts of the service, the ectocervix and the endocervix. The ectocervix is the outer part of the cervix, while the endocervix is the inner part. So this ectocervix, which is the outer part, the end part of the uterus, if there is a gynecologic examination, it can be seen. But if it's the endocervix, it cannot be seen. So what is actually bringing me on this topic is the high rate of cervical cancer. Yes, cervical cancer is a type of cancer that appears or occurs, in the cells of the cervix. This cervix we are talking about, that's when you hear of cervical cancer, that a woman is suffering from, excuse me, that a woman is suffering from cervical cancer. It's actually the cancer that occurs at the end part, that's the outer part of the cervix. So it is a cancer that occurs in the cells of the cervix. That's the lower part of the uterus. We say that the cervix is the lower part of the uterus. So the cancer that occurs on the cells of the cervix is called cervical cancer. So how do we know, or how do people know if they are suffering from cervical cancer? Well, research has shown that people don't actually get the early symptoms except it becomes severe. So that's why it's actually good to go for interval examination to check yourself if there is anything of such. So what is the cause of cervical cancer? Number one cause of cervical cancer is HPV, human papilloma virus. Yes, and this virus is gotten through sex. Yes, unprotected sex. Sexually transmitted disease gives this type of virus that now advanced to give a woman cervical cancer. Women are the only people that suffers from cervical cancer, but men have their own too. And men's own is I will treat on that later. But I'm talking of the cervical cancer, which women should pay attention to really learn from this. So people who are sexually active can become victims of cervical cancer. Yes, especially when you have different sex partners. Yes, you can become a victim of cervical cancer because the virus that carries this cancer is HPV, human papilloma virus. Yes, and this HPV is as a result of long time infection, and if the infection has HPV virus, it will not infect or inflict the cervix, inflict the cells in the cervix, and it will not result to cervical cancer. So there are other factors that increase one's risk of cervical cancer, and one of it is having immune low immune. Yes, when you have a weakened immune system, it can actually increase your rate of cervical cancer. For instance, people that have HIV, yes, their immune is low, and it can lead to they can be prone to cervical cancer if they are sexually active, and being sexually active, whether you are married or you are single. If you are married and you are faithful and your partner is faithful, you are safe if you don't already have it before getting married. But if you're married and your partner is cheating and you are not cheating, if he brings it, you can contact it. Yes, men can pass it to women, and women can also pass STIs to men, which will lead to other um, health risk for the men. But for this cervical cancer, is only suffered by the women. So I said one of the factor is low immune, and people that have there are many factors that can lead to low immune, but one of it is HIV. If one has HIV, or if you have had a kidney transplant or any organ transplant, and you are in auto immune drug. People that do transplant, they have a drug they give them so that the foreign organ that has been given to them can stay, can can actually work in their body, so that their immune can adapt to. Another point is smoking and inhaling, or should I say, second hand smoke. If you smoke, you are exposing yourself to cervical cancer. You are at higher risk than those who don't smoke. I'm not saying smoking causes cervical cancer, but you are at higher risk to get it than those who don't smoke. And if you inhale secondhand smoke, yes, secondhand, if someone is smoking and you are inhaling the smoke, you're also at a risk of cervical cancer. Yes, and if you become of if you are sexually active at a young age, you can also have the risk of cervical cancer. Then people with different sex partners, have said it earlier. You're a single man, you're a single woman, you have different sex partners. It's not always good. Yes, because it's not always good for the women. If you have different sex partners, you are exposing yourself to cervical cancer. Yes. And for the men, yes, for the men, there are other STIs you can get through exposing yourself to protected and unprotected sex. Yes, because cervical cancer is for the women, but there are other infection that can be gotten through having a different sex partners. Yes, and and another set of people that also at high risk of cervical cancer are people that are given a death drug that prevents miscarriage or premature labor. Yes, drug that can help a woman prevent premature labor or miscarriage. If that drugs is if you are exposed to such drugs, it can also be a risk for you having a cervical cancer. Yes, cervical cancer, the question now is it preventable? Yes, it is actually preventable and curable at a very early age if it's discovered. Yes, and that's why it's advised for women to always go on check up, to always check yes, if you go for regular checkup, if is detected on time, HPV vaccination can be given, and it will bring down the cervical cancer or cure it. Yes, and another point is regular. Okay, I've said the regular checkup and get treatment when need be. And this HPV vaccination is actually good for women to give their children. Now, you're not giving your children, your female children, this drug, this vaccination, because they are into sex already. No, it's to prevent it in case. So it's advised from the age of 9 that a female child should go take the HPV vaccination. Yes, it will help to prevent the cervical cancer. And if you are already of age, you can also go for screening, and then HPV vaccination will be given to you to protect you from cervical cancer. But it's advised to take it if you are aware. Like our age, most of our parents didn't really know about all this, and youngest of this age, if your parents is informed, or if you're informed, you can tell your parents, yes, mommy, daddy, I learned about this. Can I have this? Can I get vaccinated again? To state that HPV virus doesn't take care of all human papilloma viruses. Yes, because HPV, HPV, that's human papilloma virus. They are in stages, So there are stages that the vaccination cannot suppress. So that's why it's good to get screened at an early age. So highlights of this topic is that, one, condom does not protect one from HPV virus. That's why you have to be faithful to your partner. Don't have a different sex partners. And another, so my dear friends, even if you're a man watching this video, please send it to your wife, your girlfriend, and let your female children get to know about this too. And you, as a father, you can encourage your wife to go get screened. You can also encourage your wife, for both of you to help your girl child, your female child, to get vaccinated at a very early age, from age 9, age 10, age 11, 12, 15. You can go for this vaccination for your female children. And another thing that causes cervical cancer, apart from the virus I mentioned and other things, is having many children. Oh, when I was researching and I came across this, I was like, wow, because I wanted to have football team. I wanted to have 10 plus 2, that's 12. Yeah, as funny as that could be. So when I saw this, I said, wow, oh, I didn't know people that give birth to many kids are prone to having cervical cancer. So let's spread the awareness. Let your women get screened. If we are having a relationship, be faithful to your partner. Don't expose yourself or your faithful partner or to the risk of getting infected through your promiscuity. So that is it. Let the awareness go round, so that we curtail this risk of women having cervical cancer. This is coming from your darling girl, Unique Clara. I love